I love Sabrina Carpenter. I have for a while. I went to the Evolution tour back in 2016 and I passed out. It was during the song Wild Side, so perhaps a bathroom break anyway, and I did eventually regain consciousness, go back inside, and proudly twiddle my thumbs like she has. Anyway, for a while, I've wanted to make this heart cutout outfit that she's worn on tour in several different colors, but it's so intricate and I was scared, but I guess we're trying it anyway. So the outfit itself looks like a corset body with an attached skirt, and I can never draft corsets well, so I looked for bodysuit patterns online, and I found an Aranea black archive pattern in the style amber that I think works well. So I printed that out, and I just made a basic adjustment to the top to match the neckline of Sabrina's, and then I cut them all up. Now the fun part, fabric. So my goal this whole time was to do the blue version, but my second choice was the pink because I think pink fabrics are easier to find. I scoured my local fabric shop and I found base fabrics that look pretty good, but they're kind of thin, so I don't know how well it works for a corset. I also found this lace in the exact color I needed, but I don't know, I have a vendetta for this type of lace. It was also just stiffer and I didn't think it would drape well. So I ended up getting this stretchy white lace that I prayed I could just dye, but I wanted to do this whole thing for cheap and I didn't want to go out and use red dye and all that. So I just tested with this acrylic paint I already had and some hot water. I mean, it worked, so I did more. I don't know if it'll last, but that is a problem for another day. So next is cutting out all the pattern pieces of both the lining and the main lighter fabric and pinning that and sewing them all together. There were so many pieces, it was hard to keep track. And they instruct you to use a notch at the waist as your guide on the pattern. So once those were sewn, I just pressed the seam. I used a basting stitch to see how the zipper worked in place and I tried it on. The zipper was not getting up. It was stuck like halfway on my back and I tried pulling it with a paper clip and string and squeezing all of my insides to fit it, but there was no chance. It was not budging at all. Maybe if I have help from somebody else I could work, but I couldn't really rely on that. And I wanted a way to more easily get in and out. So even though Sabrina's does use a zipper, I decided to do that classic grommet style. But boning first, I made more of these channels about 1/4 in size and I slid them all in. Back to grommets, I marked where the holes would go about 1.5 inches from each other and I cut it a little and I poked in the grommet and the washer and I squeezed down the pliers with all the might I could muster. By the way, the order in which I'm doing everything is so unfathomably odd. I wanted to put the grommets on first so I could see how the corset actually fit, and I tested and it looked pretty good to me. Next was the heart cutout and I was terrified this was going to be the moment I mess everything up, and it kind of was. Like, I traced on paper first and I cut it out dripping in sweat. But okay, my one tip is to try to make the heart go a little longer than wider, because when you lace it or zip it up, it stretches a little across your body and it's just gonna look like a bean if it's too wide. But I got it where I wanted it and I hand sewed it in place. For the top of the corset, I cut some bias strips out of the main fabric to attach just to make it look all clean and pretty. Then it was time to drape the lace, and I'm still not sure I did this right. Like, I probably should have done this when I was doing the boning channels, but whatever, I guess. I pinned that, I machine stitched it on the sides to keep it in place. Then I realized I needed to hand sew the heart in place again. But this is also where I messed up again, because I could have sewn a piece of fabric around the heart and tucked it in to make it look cleaner, but the edges are fraying now. Anyway, rhinestones. I glued a million of these little suckers and I attempted to match the pattern on Sabrina's. And, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. For the crotch parts, I attached them together with a button so I could pee at my will. If you have them, or you're just into spending more money, you can use a snap closure. That will look better, and it's much easier to get on and off. I just added a lettuce hem to the bottom because I didn't really know how to finish it. The skirt is just a long piece of fabric hanging off the corset that I sewed together in the back. And when you're wearing it, you just scrunch it up. And now it's time to lace it up and put it on. I have some accessories that I think seem necessary for the cause. And now we're done. That took about a week for me to make, but I think you could whip it up in 3 days or so if you're motivated. It's so hard to move in this, honestly. I don't know how she's like slamming the door and hitting the door. I don't really know where to wear this out, if not in 8 a.m. class. Perhaps if I scramble up some tickets to the tour, it'll finally be in use. I hope this made sense.